If the universe is expanding, why is Andromeda coming toward us? That sounds like a contradiction, like the nearest big galaxy just decided to ignore the rules. But here's the twist. Hubble's law doesn't say everything must flee the Milky Way. It says that on large scales, space itself expands, and distant galaxies tend to recede from each other. And in the real universe, every galaxy has two motions layered on top of each other. Observed motion equals Hubble flow plus peculiar velocity. Hubble flow is the recession you get from expanding space. Peculiar velocity is the extra motion you get from gravity and local structure. So an approaching galaxy doesn't break expansion. It just means its peculiar velocity toward us is bigger than the recession from expansion at that distance. And Andromeda is close. Close enough that local gravity matters more than the gentle stretch of space. So what we see is that Andromeda's measured line of sight velocity is toward the Milky Way. That's not a guess, it's a direct measurement from spectroscopy, the Doppler shift of its light, and it's not just Andromeda. When you look at our local neighborhood, you see a pattern that feels lopsided. The Milky Way's nearest giant neighbor is approaching. Many other galaxies in the nearby volume are receding. Popular articles often compress this into a punchy headline like, "Every major nearby galaxy is speeding away from the Milky Way, except one." That's a great hook, but it's also a framing trap, because whether a galaxy is speeding away depends on what you count as major, what volume you include, and what reference frame you're using. That's why the phrase, "everything is fleeing the Milky Way," is so slippery. It bakes in a reference frame choice without saying so. So the honest workflow is simple. So the honest version is, the local universe shows coherent flows and deviations from the simple Hubble picture. Those deviations are called peculiar velocities. And the real question becomes, what local mass distribution produces the peculiar velocities we observe around the local group? So why is Andromeda the famous exception? Start with the simplest, most verified piece. The Milky Way and Andromeda are in the local group, a gravitationally bound neighborhood. Inside a bound system, gravity can dominate. That's not controversial. It's the same reason the Earth orbits the Sun, even though the universe expands. Bound systems don't expand apart in the same way the large-scale universe does. So Andromeda approaching is not weird. It's the expected outcome of two massive galaxies sitting relatively close together. What bound systems don't expand actually means cosmic expansion is not like an explosion with shrapnel. It's more like the ruler itself slowly stretching. But gravity is also real. And gravity doesn't care about the average stretch of the ruler. It cares about whether the stuff in one region is tightly held together. Here's the key idea. Expansion is a large-scale trend. Binding is a local condition. If a system is bound, its parts orbit instead of drifting apart. That's why atoms don't expand. Solar systems don't expand. Galaxies don't expand internally. And galaxy groups can be bound even while the universe expands. So space expands in the sense that the average distance between far-apart, unbound regions grows. But locally, where gravity built a stable structure, expansion doesn't win. It's not that the laws change, it's that one effect is simply bigger than the other in that regime, so Andromeda approaching is not the weird part. The weird-looking part is the broader flow pattern just outside our neighborhood. Why do galaxies just outside the local group show recession stronger than expected? One explanation is the cosmic web. To understand the claim, you need one mental picture. The universe is not a uniform fog. It's a cosmic web. Dark matter is the scaffolding. Normal matter falls into it. Galaxies form where the density is high enough. This web isn't just a pretty map, it shapes motion. Because gravity doesn't care about average density, it cares about gradients. Where the mass is higher, things fall in. Where it's lower, things tend to flow out. Voids don't literally push like a physical force, but if you live near a void, the gravitational pull from that direction is weaker. Just don't picture a shove. So the net acceleration points away from the void and toward denser structures. Picture an imbalance in gravitational pull. Insert what we actually observe. Before we talk models, let's separate the data from the interpretation. For nearby galaxies, we measure velocity and distance. Those two numbers are the raw ingredients. But there's a catch. A redshift is not automatically the expansion speed. It's the observed recession along our line of sight. You need an expansion reference model. And you need to be careful about reference frames. Relative to the Milky Way is one pattern. Relative to the center of mass is another. Same photons, different bookkeeping. That's why the phrase, "everything is fleeing the Milky Way," is so slippery. It bakes in a reference frame choice without saying so. So the honest workflow is simple. We measure distances and velocities. Then we compare them to an expansion model. Then we infer the leftover peculiar velocity. That's where structure shows up. The new paper's core idea. A Nature Astronomy study argues that the motions of nearby galaxies can be explained by the large-scale mass distribution around us. In their reconstruction, the local group sits near a flattened, sheet-like mass distribution on larger scales. But this local sheet isn't an island. Reality check. There is no telescope photo of a dark matter sheet. This is an inference, a model-based reconstruction from constrained simulations. So the scientific claim is not, "we finally know." It's simply, this model reproduces the pattern. A normal simulation starts with early universe conditions. A constrained simulation uses local data to produce a realization that resembles the local universe we actually observe. Think of it like weather modeling. You can simulate a winter storm somewhere, or you can assimilate data and try to simulate this storm over this city. They are powerful, but they are also model-dependent. They rely on assumptions like the LCDM model and how you connect visible galaxies to underlying mass. So when a headline says, "a sheet explains everything," the correct translation is, a LCDM consistent reconstruction with a sheet-like geometry can reproduce the observed pattern. What would make this inference stronger? If you want to judge how robust this is, ask 3 questions. First, how sensitive is it to the input catalog? Second, how sensitive is it to distance uncertainties? Small fractional errors in distance can change the inferred peculiar velocity, which is the whole game here. Third, how unique is the solution? If multiple different mass geometries can reproduce the same velocity field, then you have a family of shapes that work, not the shape. That's normal science. The careful phrasing is, this reconstruction suggests a sheet-like geometry is plausible and consistent with the data and LCDM, not directly detected. So why does a sheet-like geometry matters? Imagine you're inside a landscape of gravity, not a single point mass, but a whole terrain. Geometry matters. If mass is in a sheet, the gravitational field is different than if it were clumping in a blob. Filaments guide flows. Sheets create broad, coherent gradients. The claim is not that we're being pulled by magic. It's that galaxies outside the local group feel a net acceleration shaped by the surrounding mass distribution. That's the 2-layer picture, local binding inside the local group and cosmic web flows outside it. Insert, a practical way to think about dominates. When we say dominates, we don't mean the local group stops mattering. Think of it like walking on a moving walkway. Your walking still matters, but the walkway sets your motion. The paper also describes the local universe as surprisingly flat, stretching across tens of millions of light-years. The explanation is tied to voids. In structure formation, underdense regions expand faster than average. Matter drains out of them and piles up into walls and filaments. Again, not a push. A redistribution, like dust on a vibrating plate. It migrates because the pattern of motion and forces favors certain regions. Expansion sets the pattern. What does the paper claim it can reproduce? Their modeling claims reproduce the positions and velocities of nearby galaxies out to roughly a few tens of millions of light-years. If it matches, it gives a plausible mass geometry and makes the local flow pattern feel less mysterious inside LCDM. The velocities are not in tension with LCDM once you account for the Webb. Insert. Why this is even a question in the first place? Mapping from the inside is messy. We have distance scatter, an incomplete velocity field, and biased sampling. Even if the basic principle is simple, expansion plus peculiar velocities, the detailed pattern can look too coherent or too lopsided, depending on what you plot. What not to overclaim: every major galaxy is receding except Andromeda. This is rhetorical compression, a compression of a more nuanced velocity field. 4 misconceptions to kill. Misconception 1. Expansion is stuff flying away from us. No, it's average growth of distances between far apart unbound regions. Misconception 2. Andromeda approaching means expansion isn't real. No, it means local gravity creates a peculiar velocity that points toward us. Misconception 3. Voids push galaxies outward. No. Voids are underdense. The pull from that direction is weaker. Net acceleration points away because others pull harder. Misconception 4. A dark matter sheet was discovered. No. A sheet-like mass distribution was inferred as part of a model-based reconstruction. That's still interesting, but it's not a photograph. The clean takeaway is this: the universe expands, creating Hubble flow. But locally, gravity creates peculiar velocities. The local group sits in a cosmic web, sheets, voids, and gradients in mass. Andromeda is close enough that local gravity dominates. So it approaches. Many other nearby galaxies sit in a different part of the local gravity terrain. So their peculiar velocities add to the Hubble flow in a way that makes them look like they're fleeing us. No contradiction. Just 2 motions added together. And the new result is not "we finally know." It's a constrained model can reproduce the pattern, and it points to a sheet-like mass geometry around the local group. That's what science looks like when it's done carefully. Not a single magic answer, but a model that matches the data, with clear assumptions and clear caveats. If you want to follow up, the next question is the fun one. If dark matter is invisible, how do we infer its shape from galaxy motions, and how robust is that inference? Subscribe to SciByte Insights for more. Until next time, never stop asking why.